Hello and welcome to the London Club. In this video, which we're going to take a look at the 6 rules every golfer forgets. Now, I'm going to be joined by Fergus Bisset, who is Golf Monthly's qualified rules expert, and we're going to cover everything from red penalty areas right the way through to abnormal ground conditions. Right, let's get out there and get started. Right, so we are on the 18th tee here at the London Club, and for this one, you're going to need to use your imagination a bit. Imagine that we're on the first tee. It's 9:30 in the morning and we're due to tee off in competition. Now, the rules about when you can tee off and when you can't tee off in relation to your slot are actually quite strict, Fergus, aren't they? Effectively, what I'm saying here is you can't be early and you can't be late, but there's more to it than that. Give us some more info. Okay, well, this is rule 5.3a, and it's to do with starting your round. And really, if our tee time's at 9:30, we're supposed to tee off at 9:30. We're not supposed to start teeing off at 9:31. We're supposed to start teeing off at 9:30. And if we tee off at 9:31, the first player in the group, then technically it's a 2-shot penalty, a general penalty. And if we start teeing off more than 5 minutes late, technically it's a disqualification. Really? Yep. Gosh, that seems quite harsh. Are there harsh. Any instances, any exceptions? Yeah, well, of course, if there were golfers still playing and we're unable to tee off, then there's no penalty there. If a greenkeeper's working, we can't tee off. If the committee decides extenuating circumstances, there's been a pile-up on the road just outside the club, then they'll say, okay, we'll make exceptions here. But I think that the interesting one here is that there are similar penalties for teeing off early. Are there? Well, if you go out 7 minutes before your tee time, technically that's a disqualification. Is it? Right, okay. And if you tee off 2 minutes before your tee time, that's, again, the general penalty. Why is that the case? That seems to me to be a fairly minor crime in the grand scheme of things. I think that, one, the committee wants to make sure that play is ongoing, and two, they don't want players taking advantage of a weather slot, perhaps. Right, yeah. Say players in the clubhouse look out and half an hour before the tee time, well, hang on, here's a nice little chance to go out. That is gaining an unfair advantage, so that technically is not allowed. Yeah, I guess the best advice here is just to be prepared, make sure you're in and around the first tee well before your tee time and that you tee off at the right time, and then you won't have any issues. Ooh. I think that's a bit dicey over there. I think I probably need to hit another one. Thankfully I've got another ball. Wait a second. You're reaching a critical point in your round here. Well, you're telling me I've just hit one into trouble. Yes, but what are you going to do next? I'm going to hit one. No. I'm going to hit a provisional. Aha. There you go. Key thing to say is that you are hitting a provisional ball. It's not enough just to say I'm hitting another one. This is rule 18.3b. Right, so if I had just carried on there, hit this one, thinking in my mind it was provisional, I've broken the rules at this point. You haven't exactly broken the rules, but you were going to have to go with that ball because you have effectively said that this is the ball I'm now playing. You have not declared it to be a provisional ball. Right, okay. So you would then, with this second ball, that would be the one that would now be in play under penalty of stroke and distance. So the best thing to do is to say, right, I've got to tighten this before, and this is a provisional ball. Absolutely the best thing to do. However, it's a slightly grey area. You can say other things that would make people aware that you were hitting another one because it was a provisional ball. So you could say, I'm hitting another one just in case. Right. You would get away with that. Okay. It won't be ideal. Better to say that you were hitting a provisional. Yeah, I think in the interest of clarity, probably saying, this is a provisional ball is the best way to go. If you do that, then you can search for the first one. If you find it, you can play it. If not, the second ball does then become the one in play. Indeed. Right, so we're on the 10th hole here at the London Club. I've hit a terrible second shot, Fergus. I'm in this area of ground under repair, but my ball is sitting up like a coconut. Now, I would have normally assumed that I would have to take relief here, nearest point of relief, which is over there and looks decidedly iffy. But you're coming to my rescue here, I think, Fergus, and you're telling me that I actually can play this. You can play it. You're quite right. Under Rule 16.1, you're more than entitled to relief from an abnormal ground condition, ground under repair being one of those. That's your nearest point of relief. But there's nothing to stop you just having a go at it. If you think it's sitting well enough, you can have a go. There would be an exception, 16.1F, if the committee had declared this a no-play zone.
If there was a sign here that said either said no play zone or said players must drop from this area, then you would have to take relief as per normal.
There is no such sign. My ball's
There is no such sign.
So I'm going to have a crack at this.
You can have a crack at it.
I'm setting myself up for a fall here, I think, but we'll give it a go anyway.
Well, I'll tell
that's
you
come
what.
out nicely.
Yeah, well, there we go. It was worth not taking a drop.
Yeah, and sometimes the rules can work to your advantage. Right, okay, so Fergus, I have found myself in a spot that I'm very keen to try and get some free relief from, if possible. I've got 100 yards or so to go to the green. I've got this green box here. The club that I need to hit this shot with is my 54-degree wedge. Now, if I replicate my swing, my wedge isn't hitting it, but very helpfully, I brought my whole bag over here, and if I replicate my swing with a driver, bang, I'm definitely hitting driver into here. Please give me some good news. I'm allowed to get relief from here, aren't I?
I'm afraid I can't give you good news. This is clearly an immovable obstruction from which you would be entitled to relief if it impeded your swing, stance or lie. Now, it does clearly impede your swing if you use your driver, but one of the caveats in the Rule 16 this is that there's no relief if it's clearly unreasonable. Now, I believe that it is clearly unreasonable that you are going to attempt to hit a driver 100 yards to the green.
Oh, you got me there. You're right.
I'm afraid there's no relief.
Right, okay, Ferg, so you left me with no choice but to try and hit this one. Yeah, good luck, everyone.
Very well.
That's all right.
Yeah.
If you are liking this video, please do remember to hit the like button. For more rules advice, hit that subscribe button as well. Hopefully, if you find yourself in a situation like this, you'll know how to proceed, probably more importantly, how not to proceed. Okay, so I'm not playing very well today. I've just hooked my tee shot on 18. It's rolled around this bank and it's gone into this penalty area on my left-hand side. Thankfully, it is a red penalty area, and that, Fergus, gives me an extra option versus if it was yellow. Explain to me what that extra option is and how it might help me.
Okay, well, if it had been a yellow penalty area, you would have just had two options. Red, you've got three. Now, the two that you have for both of the penalty areas are go back to the tee, take stroke and distance relief and play again.
Don't fancy that, I've just hooked it in here.
Take back on the line relief. Now the pin's up there. Back on the line relief is quite a long way away on the other side of that water.
Don't fancy fatting it back in there.
Okay, so because it's a red penalty area, you've got a third possible relief, and that is a 2 club length drop from the point where the ball entered.
Yeah.
It's come off the side, so it hasn't been in the hazard, and then it's in the hazard, so where it entered the hazard, 2 club lengths.
Yeah, so we're confident it went in just here.
We are.
And we've marked out 2 club lengths. As you can see, I've got 2 tees in the ground there, so I'm going to take a drop somewhere up here. There we go. That, I think, is my ball in play, and I'm ready to go. Much better option than either going back to hit another one or dropping back on a line.
Indeed.
Okay, so we're going to talk about nearest point of relief and some of the things that people forget when they're in a scenario like this. So my golf ball has come to rest on this sprinkler head, and I do get free relief, which is a relief in itself, Fergus. But you need to now tell me, what's the procedure for me to run through to get this spot on?
Okay, well, class is an immovable obstruction, so yes, you do get free relief of 1 club length from the nearest point of relief. Now, first of all, you would mark your nearest point of relief, which is
about there.
Yeah, just like, yeah, indeed. Now you're going to have 1 club length to determine your relief area. Now, important to note here, club length in the definitions is the longest club in your bag, not your putter. Okay. And the reason for that is some people still use the broom handle putter, and that would be a bit of an unfair advantage. So for most people,
it's going to be driver.
It's going to be driver.
Now, 2 quick questions. Can I include my head cover in that? And where does my little Arcos sensor on the butt end of my club fit into all of this?
Well, you might not like this, but head cover has to come off for a start.
Oh, no. Okay.
And the definition of club length in the rules is the toe of the club to the butt of the grip, not including any extensions. So I'm afraid you've got to measure it like that, and not including the arc.
The extra ½ inch is not going to come and save me. So
It's not.
I'll just measure that, being careful to do it at the bottom of
Okay,
the
and
button
that's
of the grip.
no close to the hole. Okay,
And now I
and then
can
you
take
drop
my
within the
knee
relief
height
area,
drop.
and it should stay within the relief area, and that's in play. There you go.
And we are good to go.
Good to go.
And I think that the main thing that people would forget in a scenario like this is that it's one club length, the area that you get to measure, not two club lengths, as we've already talked about from the red penalty area. So knowing that difference will really help you in a position like this.